Hello everybody and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode of New Music Weekly. It's June 7th, 2024, and this is the show where I give you guys the top 5 prog headlines for the week, introduce you guys to some prog singles that I think you'd enjoy, and give you updates on the channel and what's happening here on Nathan on Shuffle. And I just wanted to thank all of you for your support. I just crossed over 4K subscribers, so that was really exciting, and I saw a lot of people posting for me on Twitter or X, social media in general, and people encouraging me on YouTube in the comments, and so I'm really grateful for all of you and what you've done for the channel. It's really remarkable. And I will note that I'm in the transition of moving, as I've mentioned on different episodes and on different social media platforms. So that's why the background's a bit different, but it's a work in progress, but it should be a blue background, but I'll probably add some things behind me to make it more interesting. But for now, it's a little bit stark, but hopefully you guys will forgive me for that as I get things going here in the new house. But I wanted to get a show out here to give you guys the news, because it's been a couple weeks since I've been able to do a New Music Weekly, so there's a lot of cool stuff that's been built up, and hopefully you guys enjoy the news this week. So item number 1, wanted to go over some of the big headline releases that came out over the past couple weeks. On May 31st, we had Marjana Semkina's Siren come out, which is a beautiful progressive folk album from one half of the I Am the Morning duo from Russia. Beautiful, definitely worth checking out, one of my favorites. I'll definitely be talking about it more on the channel. Sykofant's self-titled debut came out on the same day. It's one I've talked about on the channel, so check out my review of that one. Just cool, classic rock, sort of with some progressive undertones. Really cool stuff, maybe in line with like early Rush and Led Zeppelin and those types of bands. Coming out on June 3rd was Barock ProgJect's Time Voyager, a wonderful symphonic prog band from Italy that did an incredible concept record, definitely in the classic symphonic vein. So if you like classic symphonic prog, this should be much in line with your tastes and you should love it. Definitely going to talk about on the channel also. Hasse Froberg and Musical Companion released Eternal Snapshots. One of my favorite offshoots of the Flower Kings, really does a lot of classic rock flavor, but with prog flourishes all over it. Definitely in line if you love Flower Kings and the classic symphonic prog. It should definitely be up your alley as well. A wonderful album that I'm going to be talking about also. Richard Henshall of Haken fame released his EP this week called Mew Volume 1. So that should be interesting to check out. I believe it's instrumental stuff from the Haken guitarist. It's going to be really cool, maybe a bit fusion-y, fun to check out. And Evergrey released Theories of Emptiness, which is a classic progressive metal sound. They're well established and well regarded in the scene, so that should be a lot of fun to check out as well. Item number 2, Leprous has some news to share. Leprous is a Norwegian progressive metal group that has a lot of acclaim in the scene. They released a new single called Atonement from their upcoming studio album Melodies of Atonement. This is coming out August 30th, 2024 via Inside Out Music. Should be a really cool release. They've been teasing that it's a bit heavier than their previous recent albums, so that should please a lot of early Leprous fans. This track is pretty fire, pretty interesting, pretty heavy, but also very catchy and melodic at the same time, so it should appeal to a wide swath of their fan base, I would guess. And they have their album out for pre-order in a variety of different formats. There's several different variants color-wise on the vinyl front, and of course you could get it in CD and all the different ways that music comes, different formats, so should be cool. They're also going on tour September, October, a North American headline tour with special guest monuments and supports Fight the Fight, so should be a really cool tour. They're also going to be on Cruise to the Edge next year, so they've got a lot going on in their lane, so definitely something worth checking out. ProgJect is item number 3. They have shared their new North American tour, which features Bill Bruford interview sessions on select dates. ProgJect is the brainchild of drummer Jonathan Mover, and features an all-star group of musicians who've played with a bunch of different notable artists. The lineup has Mike Keneally from Zappa, Ryo Okamoto from Spock's Beard. We've got Alessandro Del Vecchio, Pete Griffin, and of course Jonathan Mover himself. They cover all kinds of classic progressive rock from Yes and Genesis and King Crimson and ELP, Gentle Giant, Rush, Pink Floyd. All the big names are covered. And so it should be a fun show for those who like that classic prog stuff. And we're going to get prog legend Bill Bruford opening the show, presenting in conversation with Bill Bruford, talking about his life and career, followed by an autograph and photograph session. So definitely something worth checking out if you're a classic prog fan. They're doing tour dates towards the end of this month in North America, so definitely check that one out if you're close enough in the area to be able to attend. Item number 4, I wanted to mention Mike Portnoy's video that went a little bit viral on Drumeo. He was covering Tool's Pneuma, basically a blind listen and just picking it up on the fly. Pneuma is, of course, Tool's track from their last album, Fear Inoculum, from 2019. And Mike Portnoy had a bit of a challenge, was struggling to figure out the time signatures and how to play it. And it's just a really fascinating look at the process of learning a drum part and being able to figure out this really complicated piece. And he plays it really well. At the end of the video, you get to see it in full of him playing this track. But it was a challenge, and he's a very charismatic person, so he's fun to watch on the video. So I recommend seeking that one out if you can. Item number 5, Simon Phillips and John Mitchell sign up for the new Karmakanic album. This is an album in the works from Jonas Reingold, who's another member of Flower Kings, who's helmed this band, and there's been many releases. A great band that I really love. And it sounds like they're going to be releasing a new album February or March of next year, right before their stint on the cruise, as I mentioned with Leprous before them. So it should be a lot of fun to check them out. Simon Phillips is a notable drummer who's drummed for The Who and Toto, and he's going to be on this album, just a really great in-the-pocket drummer that should be a lot of fun on the record. And I saw a video come out today of John Mitchell talking about his contributions to the record as well. So there's going to be some great guests on it. It's going to be classic Karmakanic material. The working title, I believe, is called Transmutation. So it should be a really fun one to look out for, and definitely one I'll be covering extensively on the channel because I love Karmakanic and everything they do. Focus, Dutch prog legends Focus, share a music video for Fjord Focus from their upcoming album Focus 12. This should be a really cool release from this classic prog collective. The track is really, really brilliant and really cool. It'll be on my prog singles list. The album, Focus 12, their 12th album, obviously, will be coming out through Spirit of Unicorn Music on July 5th with legendary cover art from Roger Dean. So it should be a really cool release for those who like Focus and their classic material from the 70s. This should be a really, really cool album up your alley. So number 7, Swedish prog legends Ritual return with their first new album in 17 years. This is a Swedish prog quartet, one that I really followed when I first got into the modern prog scene. So it's crazy they've been absent for so long, but their new album, The Story of Mr. Bogd, Part 1, is coming out on Charisma Records on August 16th. They have a track from it, who is Chikov Bogd. This is a concept album about a really interesting, whimsical character, fantasy type story, I believe. They had an EP called Glimpses that kind of gave a little bit of an idea of what to expect in this story, but this is the first full-length album in 17 years from this Swedish symphonic prog band, right in line with the classics of the era. Should be a really cool release, and it's available for pre-order on CD, limited edition transparent violet vinyl, and also digital formats as well. Italian prog metal fusionist Asymmetric Universe have signed to Inside Out Music. This is a really cool band formed by brothers Federico and Nicolo Vise. They have a track out called Don't Go Too Early, which is really interesting prog metal fusion in line with like instrumental stuff from Haken, Pliny, who in fact they're going to support on an upcoming concert event in Italy on the July 5th. They're also going to be playing the Arctangent Festival in the UK on the 16th of August alongside Meshuggah, Animals as Leaders, and other bands. This is a band that was formed in 2018, and they're pushing the limits of modern prog, fusing disparate genres, combining metal with jazz and ambient music, along with chamber orchestration. This should be a really cool release when it comes out. Cool to see that they're signed to Inside Out. I think that's a really cool pairing and should be something to look forward to. As for our prog singles list, many of them I've mentioned throughout the show already. The first one is Leprous' Atonement, their single from their upcoming album. A really cool, hard-hitting track. Nightwish had a track called Perfume of the Timeless that came out a couple weeks ago. Don't think I've mentioned it yet on the channel, so I wanted to put it here. Has that symphonic nature that they're known for, but with prog metal undertones. Floor is incredible on vocals, so it's a really cool symphonic piece with definite leanings towards their metal. That they're known for. Fjord Focus is on my list as well. I talked about that. King Crow has an album coming out. The album is going to be called Hopium, coming out on the Season of Mist label, August 23rd. The track that's featured here is called Kintsugi. Incredible Italian progressive metal, really hard-hitting track once again, but catchy and fun at the same time. Just really worth checking out. Marjana Semkina has a track called Swan Song that I wanted to point your attention towards. Love her new album. We'll be talking about it more in depth, but I wanted to give a taste of it here on my prog singles list. Asymmetric Universe, as I mentioned, their track Don't Go Too Early gives a taste for their prog metal fusion type style. And then Hasse Froberg and Musical Companion, Wherever You May Go, is their latest single to accompany their album release, so you could check out their full album. But this gives a good taste, a good sunny, positive, poppy-ish prog song, really enjoyable. And then Azure, Weight of the Blade is the last pick on my list. This is an album that came out a couple weeks ago, but I absolutely adore it, and I wanted to give a taste of it for you guys who may not have checked it out yet. Fantastic, modern prog with a lot of fantasy lyrics and a cool concept, and it's just a lot of fun. Really great album. So that's what I have for you guys for the news this week. Really interesting stuff. Hopefully you guys appreciated that. As for the channel itself, this week was a bit quiet, as I mentioned, because I've been moving, so I wasn't able to put out any videos this week. The last video on the channel was our Prog Song Sunday last Sunday, where we talked about side 1 of Power and the Glory by Gentle Giant. So that was a lot of fun to listen to with Jana, and we'll have side 2 later in the month, since this is Gentle Giant month, and we'll be having other Gentle Giant theme shows coming up through the month as well. So should be a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys appreciate that. I did a trio of interesting prog reviews about a week ago, so check those out. In the mix, as mentioned, was Azure's Femme, Sykofant's self-titled debut, and also an EP by the band Ugly, more in line with kind of that post-punk, more modern scene like Black Country New Roads and Black Midi, but with a Gentle Giant twist and some really cool stuff going on that record as well. So check out some of those past reviews. Some really great albums coming out right now. There's going to be some smattering of reviews this next week if I am able to film them and get my setup here a little bit. But it should be a cool week. Hopefully there'll be also a Prog Song Sunday. We have one more that we filmed in the old setup before transitioning over to the new house, so that one should be coming out shortly. So thank you guys once again for the support, for getting me to 4,000 subscribers. It means a lot. Hopefully you're enjoying the content here, and that you'll forgive me for a little bit of oddness as I transition to a new house. So thank you guys so much. Enjoy the music out there, and hopefully I'll catch you in a future episode. Bye everybody! Enjoy!